Good day everyone! I hope everyone is doing well. Let me begin this video by introducing myself. My name is Shalamaze Rico and I have made a new lesson video for us to learn from and enjoy. Stay tuned and I hope to see you at the end of this video. But before anything else, I have come up with a game and I know some of you are already familiar by how this game works. The game is what we call 4 picks, 1 word. The quest of this game is that I will present 4 pictures and then you are tasked to guess the specific word that fits with the theme of the photos presented. I will give you 5 seconds each game. Are you ready? I bet you are. So without any further ado, let us start. Now, for the first picture, what do you think is the answer? 5 seconds. Time's up. If your answer is self, you are absolutely correct. How about this one? Can you guess what it means? 5 seconds. If your answer is directed, then you are right. Now, for our last picture, can you guess what the picture depicts? Very good! It's learning. Now, after the game that we played, can you guess what is our topic for today? Precisely! It is all about self-directed learning. Now, I want you to sit comfortably and listen to me while we are going to have a brief elaboration of self-directed learning. People learn new things every day. Whether in school or learning from home, learning ultimately comes down to being a choice. Some students who are enrolled in traditional school settings still partake in self-directed learning because they want to. Other people choose to learn in unconventional ways and strictly rely on self-directed learning. There are many benefits that explain why learning at home should be more self-directed and less structured. We will break down what it means to practice self-directed learning as well as how the educational landscape is changing to support this type of growth. Self-directed learning describes a process in which individuals take the initiative with or without the help of others. In diagnosing their learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying human and material resources of learning, choosing and implementing appropriate learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. That is according to Knowles, 1975, page 18. Much research has been completed on the importance of self-directed learning in reference to adults. A significant contributor of this theory is Malcolm Knowles. Malcolm Knowles built his theory on the foundational research of Thorndike, Bregman, Tilton, and Woodyard, who pioneered the field of adult education. He continued on their research by beginning his inquiries in the 1950s when he noted a difference in the way in which adults learn in comparison to the way in which children learn. Adult learning became a point of focus in the early 20th century as psychologists began studying the capability of adults learning in comparison to children. To this point, society believed that the younger the student, the better the learner. However, this theory was debunked with the introduction of intelligence testing. These IQ tests proved that adults had comparable IQs to children and therefore should possess the capability to learn just as efficiently as their younger counterparts. These early testing practices led to the development of 2 new theories, andragogy and self-directed learning. Educational psychologists propose that adults could learn just as efficiently and comprehensively as children, but that they learned in a different manner. Education researchers noted that adults did not require the same guidance as children in their learning practices. This realization demanded an alteration in terminology. To this point, teacher-directed learning had been a composite of Greek words paid, meaning child, and agogos, meaning leader. Pedagogy was then defined as teacher-directed learning. With the emergence of adult learning methods, Malcolm Knowles proposed that education needed a new label to accurately describe the adult learning process. He coined the term andragogy, meaning self-directed learning. This terminology came from the Greek words and meaning man and agogos meaning leader. Andragogy is defined as the science of helping human beings to study and learn. Now, for us to have a better understanding on this concept, let us elaborate it further by knowing how it works in classroom setting. Self-directed learning, or SDL, is an educational process that gives power to the student to choose how they want to learn. Students receive guidance from a teacher, whether that teacher be in school setting or online. Teachers may also be tutors or parents who are homeschooling their kids. Once a student is given their educational goal or target, they have a freedom to choose how they achieve it. So, the overall concept is such that teachers provide guidance and the students have control. For example, a teacher may provide the goal to strengthen interpersonal communication and to learn about World War II. Then, a student may choose to interview their grandparent and share the interview in a written or recorded format. Or a student may create a report on World War II and produce their own examples of propaganda. Since the students get to take power over their learning, they can play on their own strengths, interests, and styles of understanding new information. So now, as an educator and a future educator, how can we use self-directed learning? We can promote SDL by creating activities that require design thinking. In this way, you direct students to ask questions and dissect challenges themselves. You can provide the resources to help guide students down the path of learning and conquering a new subject. The iterative practice means that as students continue to build their own knowledge on a subject, you can continue to provide the same resources to unlock the next level of information, so to speak. In this way, students are growing at their own pace and remain engaged in the learning with heightened curiosity. Now, is self-directed learning effective? Yes, it is effective. Self-directed learning is proven to work because it's the natural way of learning. When you look at a child playing, you can see how they learn through their experience. When a student feels success in accomplishing a task or understanding a new concept, they want to continue to learn more and more. Traditional school settings can't always accommodate for the needs of every individual. So, it's natural that some move ahead quickly and some others fall behind. However, the danger is that when a child is forced to be compared to others around them, they may lose the love of learning and fear failure. Instead, with self-directed learning, students get to move at their own pace and pick up knowledge based on what activities spark their interest. Now let us tackle the benefits of self-directed learning. There are a wide range of benefits that come along with self-directed learning. For example, first, natural development. In school and in life, people are required to make their own decisions. With SDL, students hone the skill of evaluating situations and trusting themselves to choose the right path. Second, no negative systematic reinforcement. In some cases, schools can really tarnish a student's psyche for life. There have been instances where teachers have verbally abused students or kids who learn differently are made fun of by their peers. With self-directed learning, there's no winners or losers. Third, supports interests. School curriculum are systematically structured and designed. In this case, some students have to read about things they are not interested in or make projects that are unrelated to things they care about. With SDL, students can explore a wider range of interests while learning a particular topic. Last, it reinforces collaboration. Students can collaborate with peers or family members in their learning process. They can work together instead of within a system of hierarchy. This type of learning is also resembles the way teams work together in their workplace. Now let us move forward to the learning processes of self-directed learning. So it is composed of 4 learning steps. First, assess the readiness to learn. Second, set learning goals. Third, engage in the learning process. And fourth, evaluate learning. Now, let us tackle first the first step, which is the assessing the readiness to learn. As teachers, we just cannot use SDL without assessing our learners first. We are to assess their readiness to learn. In order to do that, we are to provide an assessment for students to evaluate their current situation and methods of learning. This can be done through a series of questions. Some signs that show a student is ready for SDL include strong organization and communication skills, the ability to be self-disciplined, and an openness to constructive feedback. Next step is setting learning goals. An instructor and a student taking part in SDL should set goals and communicate with one another. The goals not only will outline what the unit of study will be, but it will also describe the learning policy, grading procedures, and how feedback will be provided. The students should find motivation as learning for learning is not enough. So, determining the goals that drive the student to learn is important. Step 3 is engage in the learning process. Students should be prepared to engage with new topics on a deep level, surface level, and strategically. The deep level involves their personality and willingness to go above and beyond to learn new concepts. The surface level is to have an understanding on what learning goals are. The strategic level is how they will accomplish the goals and how much time they should spend on tasks. It is also important to identify the goals and paths he or she wants to enter into learning using SMART, which explains the learning factors in terms of measurable, possible, subject-specific, and time-based. The last step is to evaluate learning. To be sure that SDL is on path to success, instructors and students should have regular check-ins and also set time aside for reflection. Instructors can give useful feedback and students can assess how well they know material by applying their knowledge or sharing it with others. Evaluation is a systematic process that involves a variety of activities. Informal evaluation is used by the teacher to provide feedback to students and to check for understanding in the teaching and learning process. The students should evaluate the self-learning process. must be reminded that learning is an essential part of everyday living for every individual. It requires that we acquire skills and knowledge to compete in a swiftly changing world. In this demanding global environment, self-directed learning strategies are essential to the survival of mankind as individuals fail to adapt and they become obsolete. The goals of self-directed learning mirror that of a traditional school setting in that is focused on a student's growth, understanding, and interest in new material. For students who take part in self-directed learning, it opens the door to learn in a genuine and a personalized way. That would be all for my discussion. But before you leave, I have prepared three discussion questions. First question is, in your own definition, what is self-directed learning? Number two, do you think self-directed learning is important? Why or why not? Step number three, when was the last time you attempted to learn something on your own and what was it? Did you complete it? How? Thank you everyone for tuning in my video and I hope you learned something from me today.